Hello, everybody. I'm Rikki Smith. Welcome to Faith on Friday Presents. At Faith on Friday Presents, our goal is to drive motivation by closing the door on the comfort zone, to foster inspiration by showing what's possible, and to create transformation by challenging those negative and unproductive mindsets. And while you're here, don't forget, subscribe to this YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, and follow us on Instagram. So let me ask you, have you ever thought about, or are you still waiting for that perfect time? You know that time, waiting till you're out of high school, till you graduate college, till you turn 25, till you get married. What about when the first baby comes, or when that baby's out of diapers or leaves on their own? Waiting for that perfect time is something all of us do. But what about that perfect time not showing up the way you thought it would? Today, I want to introduce you to somebody who's going to talk about that and more. So let's get started. Everybody, please say hello to Shawna Champlin. Hey, Shawna, how are you?
I'm doing great. Hello, Ricky. Nice to see you today.
It's so nice to have you on. I love what we're getting ready to talk about because I already know all the good stuff. But before we get started, my friend, tell everybody where you are and where it is that where you're located, and tell us about yourself.
Well, I am Shauna Champlin. I am located in beautiful North Idaho. I was originally born in West Virginia. My mom is from Hawaii. We lived in California as a middle ground, so we could go ahead and go both places, and spent most of my life in Northern California. When my husband went to retire, we decided we would find a place that could still get me close to home, because
Mm.
my father had heart issues.
Oh,
So we thought that would be a good spot for us, and I could open up my own business. So I'm a career
nice.
coach, and I love what I do, and I get to live in a beautiful part of the country.
That's so true. I've never been to Idaho because there was never any reason, but I have been to Hawaii. So that part, I love it.
Hello, right? Who wouldn't?
I know I would. I tell you what. Shauna, you heard in the introduction, people are always waiting for that perfect time, that thing that's going to change their life, the thing that is going to fulfill them for the rest of their days. But sometimes it doesn't happen the way that they think. So, oh, I love this and hate this all at the same time. Shauna, tell us a little bit about what happened to you and how you got to where you are right now.
So I mentioned that I got married, I moved up here, husband retired, started my business, things were going really well. And in all of 2024, I was having the experience of feeling like I had heartburn.
Mm.
And I just kept thinking, oh, I ate something weird, or I mixed chocolate with caffeine and too much this and that. And by the end of the year, in November, I'd just gone to a large conference and I had a doctor's appointment. I don't even have anything to talk about. But I
Right?
thought, oh, I'll bring up the heartburn. And so I did. And the doctor looked at me and said, I don't want you to do anything, no exercise, no
Wow.
moving, no nothing. And I looked at her kind of confused and she said, Shauna, go back and tell me about your dad. And as I mentioned earlier, my dad had heart issues. Well,
Hmm.
I kept hoping that I was not in that gene pool
Yeah.
and that I would skip it. But that was early November. And in a matter of 3 weeks, I finally got an appointment to go ahead and do a stress test.
Hmm.
I failed miserably, miserably.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I didn't know you could get a negative score. I did. So
Oh my
which is hard
God.
for a high achiever. Got a
Yeah.
negative score, and I ended with meeting the cardiologist immediately after the test
Wow.
because the results were so bad. That was on a Tuesday. He added time to the calendar to do a procedure for me on Thursday to
Hmm.
do a stent and showed up on Thursday. He went in, backed right out, and said, oh no, this is not happening. I
Wow.
cannot do this. I had 100% blockage on my right side, 85% blockage on my left anterior descending. When you hear the word widowmaker,
Yeah.
that is what happens when there's a heart attack in that area. And then I had an 85% blockage at the bifurcation of the circumflex and the left. So right in
Oh
the middle
my
point.
gosh.
And there was no way for them to do a stent. And he said, you need a bypass.
Oh my
But I
gosh.
don't even know if they can do it. So I
Hmm.
need to go talk to a surgeon. So the surgeon looked and said, we can do this. So that was Thursday. Monday was in the surgeon's office. He said, you need a quadruple.
Oh
And
my
on
gosh.
10 days later, December 19th, I went in, and who I was on the 18th is not who I came out as on the 20th of December. And thank God to God, and I believe that God is really why I am here.
Mm-hmm.
I was exited from the hospital, released on Christmas Eve.
Oh, wow.
So my life changed. So when you talk about things happening the way that you think they're going to, God's plan
Yeah.
is way different than we could ever
Way
imagine.
different. 100%. Wow. First of all, I'm so glad to see you. I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad that you're here.
Thank you.
So now here's the thing. I love all of that because this is what it reminds me of. We have plans because I'm sure you had plans for the holidays and
Oh,
a
yeah.
bypass wasn't it.
Nope.
And then you have to go through this anyway. So your plans changed. Can you
Right.
tell us a little bit about what plans did you have before you knew all this?
So we were planning on having my sister-in-law over for Thanksgiving and
Mm-hmm.
Christmas, and all this started before Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were waiting to see, oh, well, Christmas, we're just going to go do this. And all I thought was, oh, if I get a stint, I'm in and I'm out, no
Yeah.
big deal. But like I said, it went like this. So my son had just come in to
Mm-hmm.
visit, and
Wow.
my son had just gotten engaged. So I was hoping to
Mm.
get to see them
Yeah.
virtually, to celebrate that. But it was really about just we were going to have a nice Christmas day. And
Mm-hmm.
we did, just not in
Yeah.
the way that I thought,
That's the way you thought.
not
Yeah.
in the way that we thought. God gave me a bigger gift.
Mm-hmm.
My 81-year-old father, who is
Mm-hmm.
also a heart transplant patient,
Wow.
been successful now for 11 years,
Awesome.
and my 74-year-old mother came up. So
Oh,
they came
wow.
up for Christmas. They came
Mm-hmm.
up, were with me through the procedure along with my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And then they helped get me on my feet. What you don't know is that all those times that my father, from age 42 to now,
Mm-hmm.
I've been through the process with him. So it was
Yeah.
reversed.
Yeah.
So all the
What a
times I'd
weird
walk with
dichotomy.
him, walking
Mm-hmm.
around the hospital, my 81-year-old father was walking with me in the hospital. So
Wow.
God is great.
Yes, he is.
And it was amazing. And then my son did come in to visit. So
Okay.
here I thought we were going to be virtual. My son ends up coming in as my
Yeah.
parents leave to come
Oh.
help my husband. So
Mm-hmm.
God provided tremendous support and care.
Yeah.
And
He's got a
just
really
real
good plan.
his plan was so much better. Here I'm
Right.
thinking, I'm just going to have this. And then my sister-in-law took our
Mm-hmm.
two Labradors
Mm-hmm.
and spoiled them
Yeah.
and then
Now
brought
they don't want
them.
to come home. Yeah.
Right, right. And then they eventually came home and they're like, okay, we'll settle for mom. But
Yeah.
it was very different than what I had planned and so
Mm-hmm.
much better.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
much better.
gosh. I know that. So you have people listening to this right now thinking, oh my gosh, I would have just laid down and never did anything again. What got you up and moving? And where did you go to now?
So my mom, because my son had just got engaged, she had brought a picture of my son and his fiance, and it
Mm-hmm.
was to the left of me. And that was my motivation to get up, move, walk. But I was in there during the holidays. So she had brought in
Yeah.
this light angel so
Mm-hmm.
that when everybody's gone and visiting hours are over and you're struggling, and just so everybody knows, when you've had a bypass, you're T-Rex. Your arms are literally in your chest. You can only do this. That's it.
Oh my
There's no
goodness.
lifting, moving. You can't, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So getting in out of bed, you have to learn all these new things. And
Wow.
when the lights are off, my mom had this angel that illuminated these beautiful colors
Mm-hmm.
that just brought so much light in, and it brought me so much joy and so much
Mm-hmm.
peace. And I just felt like there's no reason not to be grateful. There's no reason not to be thankful, and that
Mm-hmm.
God continues to shine light where
Yeah.
I needed to see it. Because trust me, there were some very unattractive moments,
I'm sure.
some very painful points, but it
Oh.
was so gracious that she had brought that. And then
Mm-hmm.
she brought a beautiful banner that said, Santa, stop here, meaning
Mm-hmm.
don't forget me.
Oh, I
And
love
it
it.
was just something to add something for that was celebratory. And I
Mm-hmm.
love that I got to take it all home on Christmas Eve and I got to watch it into the new year
Yeah,
in my home.
that's phenomenal. So then going forward, Shauna, how has that experience changed you as a person and as a business owner?
It changed me drastically. So I got home on Christmas Eve. The night of the 26th into the 27th, I got a message from God. I got a download. And
Mm-hmm.
his download was to live big. And
Okay,
that
now.
was being present. So that's the B,
Mm-hmm.
intentionally aware, and graciously astute.
Oh gosh,
And I really
that's so
thought that
good.
I was
Mm-hmm.
until you learn that you can't breathe on your own. And then you learn that you can breathe, and you have to relearn walking,
Yeah.
movement, the basics.
Mm-hmm.
It made me really look at all of just the things that we take for granted
Mm-hmm.
and made me reevaluate and do a reset on my life.
Yeah.
Total
Wow.
reset. And so the days of Shauna being a workaholic, which I vowed I wouldn't be when I left corporate after 30 years,
Yeah.
and I started my own business, that I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
going to be this workaholic because I was killing it in corporate,
Oh
right?
yeah,
And
definitely.
but as a business owner,
Mm-hmm.
you function at a level of whatever it takes to move forward.
That's right.
And there were times that I was not taking care of myself.
Yeah. That's
And I
all of us.
wasn't right. And I
Yeah.
wasn't being intentionally aware
Mm-hmm.
of
So,
what I
Shauna,
was
I'm
doing.
going to stop you here really quick because I love that live big as an acronym. Can
Mhm.
you break down that B? What does the B look like? What does the I look like? And what does the G look like in your everyday or someone else's everyday life?
Absolutely. So being present, we think that we're so present, but I'm going to tell you right now, between this kills you. These things, you are not
Yeah.
present at all.
Those phones,
I,
that's it.
right. And if someone else is talking, really listen, be quiet.
Mm,
Don't respond. Let them give you a message you're meant to receive.
so
We're
good.
so often thinking about what's the next thing we need to say. We're really not listening. Be
Mm-hmm.
present, because it is a gift to be in that moment with that human being,
Wow.
with that pet, with your business partner, listening to a certain song, something that brings you back in time, whatever that
Mm-hmm.
is. So to me, be present in the moment,
Yeah.
because it's the one moment. It's gone.
It's
It's gone
gone
like that.
just like that. Yeah.
And then intentionally aware.
Mm-hmm.
We say we're intentional, but I'm going to make you really question that
Uh-oh.
and whether or not we're really aware. And it's intention is about having the interest and the
Mm-hmm.
want and the choice and the decision to do something. I'm intending to do this, but are
Mm-hmm.
you really intentional and being aware
Wow.
of who and what is around you, what
Mm-hmm.
their needs are, what your needs are? We tend to just go through the
That's
motions.
true. Yeah.
And
Because
I
life
feel
is
that
life and, you got to keep moving. So,
it is,
yeah,
it
it's
is.
tough.
It is, but when you
Yeah.
sit down, sometimes you think, oh, this person's just venting all the time. And then you take a step back. Wait a minute. You're a safe space for them to go ahead and talk to.
Oh, that's so good. So look at it as the gift that it is.
Right, right. And
Oh, wow.
they
Huh.
trust you enough
Mm-hmm.
to share something that they normally wouldn't, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um, graciously astute. I look at this one as I thought that I was a really gracious person. In
Mm-hmm.
Hawaiian culture, if you have two things and this is your favorite, that's the one you give.
Right. Yeah.
But I have a hard time receiving. And grace is reciprocity, even though we
Mm.
don't want to always admit it.
That's
And
so
that
good.
graciousness sometimes is just sitting in the moment
Mm-hmm.
and receiving and being able to astutely be really aware, be really conscious of the grace that's being bestowed upon you and how you
Mm-hmm.
can give it to others, because
Mm-hmm.
people need grace.
People
People
need
are going to
grace.
make
So
pe-
true.
people are going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Give them the moment
Mm-hmm.
to work through it.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they see their part, but hopefully they're living big, right? That they're
Yeah.
being
Living
present,
big.
intentionally aware, and graciously astute. If not, you can
That's
help them
huge.
through that,
That is
right?
huge. That is, I'm rethinking my all my life choices right now. So I don't think I'm living big in some areas, but I'm sure a lot of people listening and watching this are thinking the same thing. Am I living big? That is
Yeah.
so good. So Shauna, while we're on this, tell us about your business. What do you do and who do you do it for?
So I'm an executive career coach. I help business professionals, whether they are in the midpoint of their career, executives, whatever the role that they may be, move through their career path. So people who are, to say you've just been laid off,
Mm-hmm.
or you're trying to interview and you're not getting promoted, um, I help them. So I help
Wow.
you go from tired to hired, devoted to promoted, and lead to succeed. That's what
I
I do
like
with
that.
my job seekers. And then I
Mm-hmm.
help business owners build their dream teams and then live a life that they love by leading a way that they need to succeed for themselves and their teams. And I
Wow.
love it. I get to empower people to be the diamonds that I think God made us to be
Yeah,
because I
that's so
believe we're
good.
all multifaceted and strong and valuable, but most importantly, brilliant.
We're
And
brilliant.
sometimes we just need to bring a little polish to bring that brilliance out.
Yeah. You know, in this day and age, you hear so many people, they are getting laid off. They are losing their jobs left and right for whatever reason. And it
Right.
seems like there is a hiring now sign in every window everywhere you go. But for some reason, people are still not getting or finding the job. Let me ask you this, because you are somebody that helps people get through their careers. What are two or three really good tips that you could give someone who's been laid off,
Mhm.
applying everywhere, but nothing's coming up? What would you tell them to do?
First and foremost, they need to evaluate their skill sets. And if they don't know, a lot of times people don't know their skills and they don't know what they bring to the table. They're very short-sighted on what they
Mm-hmm.
offer. And often it's about if you really evaluate, you realize, wow, I can take those skills into multiple industries. So
So
that's the
good.
first thing,
Mm-hmm.
is really doing a skill set identification. Second thing is if you do not have AI, if you don't know how to use AI, AI is here to stay. It's not here to replace you. It's a tool for you to leverage. So people have got to learn the
Mm-hmm.
skill sets. It's got to be on your resume. If it's not on your resume,
Wow.
people who have AI are getting hired before
Mm-hmm.
you are. I'm going to give a third tip.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking at different areas or different types of work, please do not spam the same resume out there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
People believe in the old school way that, oh, I know Mr. Johnson, Mr. Johnson's going to get me in. I hate to tell you, Mr. Johnson, and all the other companies, it's an automated tracking system.
Mm-hmm.
And if your words do not match to the job description, you will never be even be selected for an interview.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to do that evaluation, that preliminary work. So evaluate your
Yeah.
skills, look at what you need to do to align to the role, and then make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you're upgrading your skills in AI,
Yeah.
and that you're adding that to your resume. Those are three things right out of the gate you need to be doing in order to make yourself more marketable
Mm-hmm.
and someone who they really want to bring into their team.
That's true. I
Yeah,
like that. You know, Shauna, you hear so many, there are a lot of folks out here doing what you do, helping people get hired and making sure that their skills are up to date and all the things. What is something different that people are going to get working with you than with somebody else?
so my gift that I believe God gave me is that I can meet with someone for a very short period of time and I can pull out all your skill sets almost immediately.
Woo!
Yeah, so that's my strength. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to pull those out for you and then
Mm-hmm.
for you to move them out. So I'll use an example. I had someone who was a hairdresser and she said, "Oh, this is all I do." And I said, "Well, aren't you a business owner? Do you hire your own contractors? Did you set up your own insurance?" And
Mm-hmm.
then I started to ask her about some of the philanthropic work that she does. Turns out she led large teams, ran large fundraising programs where she raised $65,000, et cetera, for different moments. So she actually had project management, contract management,
Wow.
and insurance management, vendor management. She had all these different skills, but she labeled herself just a hairdresser. And I think
Wow.
we need to be careful how we label ourselves and remove the
100%.
just and give
Mm-hmm.
ourselves the justice that we deserve.
I like that. Remove the just and give ourselves the justice we deserve. I think a
Yeah,
lot of folks do that because we get very narrow in what we're able to do. Your job is not just what you do. It's
correct.
a lot of what you bring to the table,
Absolutely.
and I'm sure both of us have friends and who are stay-at-home whatevers. You can't just say stay-at-home moms anymore because that's not the case. And they're like, well, no, I don't have anything to offer the workforce. Excuse me? I
The
can hear
project,
all of the moms right now cringing, going, what do you mean? Go ahead. What would you
okay,
say to that?
Okay, so first and foremost, the project management, the scheduling management, to go ahead and run a budget. If you're to take a look at all of the
Yeah.
functioning that you have to do, and people like to label, oh, I'm a chef, oh, I'm a chauffeur, and there's nothing wrong with those roles. But if
Mm-mm.
you really look at the skill sets, the counseling, the different
Yeah.
time management alone that you do, if you think that running three children to three different places and getting all
Whew.
of their schooling done,
On
getting
time.
making the Halloween costumes, different
Yes,
things, whether you buy it or you make it. That's project management, and
it
people don't
is.
realize that. All the vendors you call, the maintenance on your
Oh
home,
my
running
goodness.
the budget.
So
If you think
true.
about it, you are the CEO of your own home.
I know.
So,
When you were talking, it made me think of how that, from that just to justice,
mhm,
your role is not your skill set.
correct,
I
correct.
never thought about that before because I think a lot of us in corporate and in business, we look at our role as what we can do versus what it is. The role is pretty much the title they give you. But what you do is so much more.
So I'm going to add, because you've said this, I'm going to throw something else out there that people
Mm.
need to think about. I don't believe that you need to be hired for roles. I think you need to do skills-based hiring because you want to
Okay
look at
now.
someone who, if you're an employer, if you run a
Mm-hmm.
business, it's about how can someone provide multiple uses,
Mm-hmm.
multiple functions,
Yeah.
multiple interests, because if you give them opportunities, they're going to
Mm-hmm.
stay. You're going to
Yeah.
retain that
So
resource.
true.
So know
Mm-hmm.
what they like, know what you have available, and how they can help in multiple areas.
Yeah.
It's no longer singular out there in the market. You really have to
Mm-mm.
look at it as a multifaceted approach, hence
Yeah.
the diamond that I
Hence the
use.
diamond.
You are a
I
diamond,
like
you're
it.
multifaceted. What do you bring to
Yeah.
the table? Look at all of your facets. And when you go
Mm-hmm.
into your roles, you bring in scenarios that you discuss that
Mm-hmm.
illuminate those facets.
Yeah. Wow. There's so much good information here. Shauna, if somebody wanted to reach out to work with you or just to finish
Yes.
this conversation and ask questions, where's the best place for them to find you?
I would love for people to come check me out on my website, and that's at shiningoutcomes.com. And I'd love to connect on, of course, LinkedIn. You can find me under Shawna Champlin, Shining Outcomes. But on my website, come grab a free discovery call with me. I have wonderful tips, whether you are a job seeker, I've got a job tracker for you, I've got tips for you to be the best candidate. If you're a business owner, I've got you an inventory. What are the things that you need to be looking at to be a better leader? And then more importantly, tips on how to retain and gain top talent. So come out and utilize, grab the free, and then at the same time, find what you need. And if we're a fit, I'd love to help.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. I don't know about y'all, but that is something I need to probably take a look at. And don't worry, all of her information is going to be in the description below, so you won't miss a thing. And don't forget, while you're here, subscribe to this YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, and share us with your network. We got cool stuff happening. Shauna, my friend, before I let you go, we got to play a game. This game is called This or That. I'm going to give you the choice of a few things, and you, off the top of your head, just tell me which one you like the best. Are you ready to play, my friend?
Let's go
Let's do this. Work from home or go into the office?
home.
Romantic night out or Netflix and chill?
Ooh, I find Netflix with my husband can be very romantic.
Oh, there you go. I love it.
Yeah,
So, in
yeah.
staying in that vein, moonlight or candlelight?
Ooh, boy, you're making these hard. When I'm outside, because we've got a large outdoor area, I've got
Hmm.
candles with the moonlight. Is what I do. I have
Oh,
a candle out there and I enjoy the moonlight.
I love an overachiever. Anyway, yellow light, speed up or slow down?
Slow down now.
Yeah, I guess. Need to
Slowing
think
down now.
about slow it down now. I like it.
Yep.
Fight, flight, or freeze?
Oh, I'm a fighter. Dig in, baby. Be a warrior.
Wow, I don't
Yeah.
know why I did not expect that.
Yeah.
You are my
Dig in deep.
people. I like it. Do it yourself or call a professional.
If I know what I'm doing, I do it myself. Otherwise, I leave it to the professional.
Ah, wallflower or life of the party?
I'm a mid-flower. I'm a flower that likes to come out, do its thing, and then go over to the ones that are wallflowers and check them out. How are you doing, baby? You know what I mean?
I like that so much. And finally, my friend, if I had to do it all over again, I would blank.
I wouldn't do anything different.
Wow,
God put me where He put me on purpose. If I were to change things, I wouldn't be where I'm at learning the lessons I'm supposed to have. The
that
only
is
thing I would
wisdom.
say is don't be afraid, move forward, live with grace, be kind to yourself.
Y'all heard it here first. Write it down or replay this 15 times. Either way. Shawna, thank you so much for being with me today. This has been so good and so informative.
Oh, thank you. I've absolutely enjoyed you. You were wonderful.
Thank you. All right, everybody. That's it for this week. But don't worry, we'll be back next week with more Faith on Friday Presents.